Critical condition getting worse and worse. 7th of December. All the way walking down to the city centre to the soup kitchen, and all morning from the very moment I've woken up. Crippling transgressions with my entire life encapsulated with a detective, being entitled to my power to say sorry into 1,000 crimes. Every time that my family's died, he's saying sorry for it. Every time that I've been assaulted, they're saying sorry for it. Having full entitlement to commit crime against me and full entitlement to my power. Critical condition still continued. One of the main assaults, or one of the assaults they did to me at 13-year-old that was fully controlled, had nothing to do with my life. They've controlled me into physical assault like they've done numerously. They're continually incriminating me or humiliating me on video. This is something I've seen in society a lot regularly. Basically, on over 10 occasions throughout my life, I've been humiliated or degraded on video or incriminated. So they're continually on camera committing crime against me or creating scenarios or situations where I'm incriminated or degraded on camera. And one of the assaults, they created the full assault itself where I'd be on camera to be humiliated on camera. And still to this day, it never had anything whatsoever to do with my life. It had nothing to do with my life. There's no way whatsoever that it'd have ever got near my power, so it was fully synthetic. I always knew it, I knew it at the time. And even now at age 33 at the end of this month, and I still know now it's criminal. There's nothing I can do in society for the criminal nature of it. If it had been a genuine assault, I'd have accepted it. The fact is, I'm going to summarise what I'm saying now. They controlled me into an assault where it was on video at 13-year-old, and it had nothing to do with my life whatsoever. And I've always known it. I've never had anything to do with my life, and it would never be able to assault my natural criminal power or power like that ever. I've always known it. So they created an assault that's not natural to my life course or natural to my genetics to put in the system. What I'm trying to say is they created an assault, a crippling humiliation assault, or a humiliation act, or a physical assault what's humiliating that had nothing to do with my natural genetics or natural life in society. And internally now they're relativising it, saying sorry into it. Detective Constable's apologising into it. They're not apologising for the assault, they're apologising for the fact they've committed crime against me from the system to commit crime against somebody. So they're creating their own incidents, their own behaviours, their own assaults. A majority of them have got nothing to do with the individual's life. So most of the events they're creating in a controlled state, or most of the scenarios or incidents they're creating in a controlled state, some of which are leading to death or serious fatalities or similar, they're not anything to do with the individual's lives. It's coming straight out of the minds of the individual officers. It's coming straight out of the minds of the individuals in the system. They're essentially creating their own behaviours and creating their own crimes or creating their own scenarios. And what I'm trying to say is all these incidents are not in relation to reality or society. They're solely created to put in the system as evidence. So they're ignoring people's lives like mine, ignoring their entire life and just creating the life in conjunction with what they're putting in the system to create a story from the system. And a large portion of it, 60 to 90% of it, or in some cases like this one, 100% of it's nothing to do with the individual's life whatsoever. I said the assault they got me subject to at 13-year-olds a forced suicide, not in relation to not a forced suicide. It's me out of character with society because I'm going to need justice in the system for the rest of my life. And I don't mean justice for an assault in the system. I don't mean justice for a petty assault or an incident like this in society. I mean, I need justice in the system because they physically control somebody into an assault with the objective or with the intent to destroy somebody's power in society. So they've gone into somebody's life in a controlled state, with them in a controlled state, thinking they have full entitlement to the life, full entitlement to the power to create the life for him, and created an incident where the individual's been assaulted and humiliated, which has obviously left him defamated or humiliated in society, which still lingers on today. So they're essentially going into people's lives with full entitlement and killing the power in society. And majority of the times like this one, it's got nothing to do with my life whatsoever. But now it gets even worse now because internally they're advertising a detective constable saying sorry for it. Not sorry for the crime I've been subject to, but sorry for committing crime against me from the system and creating it. So they're committing crime against, like I've been assaulted 50 times. It's not one. So they've encapsulated all these incidents, and majority of them are illegal in the system. I don't mean illegal in society for being assaults. I mean illegal because they're controlled assaults or controlled incidents that have got nothing to do with my power in society and would never happen in society. They're creating evidence for me in a controlled state to put in the system, and it's got nothing to do with my natural life course or natural power, and then saying sorry into my power. So they're basically creating their own evidence and then committing crime against you internally, saying sorry for it, but they're not acknowledging it in the police station. Essentially creating their own story for in the system, and all the way walking down here I've been subject to the internal crippling braking sessions or catastrophic apology, literally crippling, degrading apology with detectives entitled to my power to commit crime against me and say sorry for it. Basically committing crime against me, then saying sorry for it. Imitating having full entitlement to commit crime against me and then say sorry into 1,000 crimes. So Joe's getting tighter and tighter short. It's now 7th of December 2025, and from the moment I got woken up this morning or this afternoon, because I didn't get to sleep while 7 a.m. The moment I've woken up today, my jaw's been completely wide shut, the back of my skull and ability to think's wide shut, getting worse and worse because they're stripping my life out, committing crime against my power, saying sorry and stripping it out, which is putting more pressure on my jaw, more pressure on the institutional self, and obviously I'm getting plunged more and more in a brain dead control state, losing more of my life and completely institutionalised. This is a crime against humanity. They're stripping people's entire life out and internalising it into an institutional self that's overwhelming somebody or institutionalising somebody indefinitely. So I've seen people, the self-where they've had their entire life stripped out and it's been internalised. So they're just basically in a controlled state, full controlled state, with no power or control over their own life because they've continually, internally, been subject to internal braking sessions or stripping out of themselves all day, and they've internalised it, and they've done it that frequently throughout the days, through that many years. So 3,000 times a day for 20 years plus, crippling braking sessions internally, committing crime against the power and stripping it out as a job costing them every day with the objective of bringing it forward, and it's left them in a robotic controlled state. The controlled state on me now is completely wired my jaw shut. It's causing severe pain and agony. As I said in other videos, opening your mouth like that's a sign of anxiety. It's a load of shit. It's because of the pressure on your jaw from the institutional self, like internally my power or the control over my own life's in a dome-like encapsulation where it's encapsulating my power shut, and it's just getting tighter and tighter shut every day. I felt the dome-like vibes are shut in 2016, so I've been in a brain dead state since, and it's just pulling more and more power out into it, putting more pressure on my body. Either way, in this entire time, walking down here in less than 30 minutes, 45 minutes, all I've been subject to for that entire walk is a crippling apology, a detective being entitled to my power to commit crime against me and saying sorry while being entitled to do what he wants at my expense, into every assault they've forced me into, and every bit of my power over my own life, inflicting a crippling apology, saying sorry into my power. Problem still continues, internal braking sessions, committing crime against somebody's power, apologising for it and then stripping it out, which is putting more pressure on my jaw, plunging me more and more in a brain dead state, and obviously it's aiming to be or going to be one of the worst institutionalisation cases in the system, meaning by that if they ever brought it forward it'd be a complete robotic state with no control over my own life, in full control of the system. That's because they've been stripping my life out 3,000 times a day, inflicting crippling, degrading, saying I'm sorry while stripping my life out. So it's been 3,000 times a day now for 20 plus years, or at least for 9 plus years in a critical state, and it's completely overwhelmed somebody to the extent where all physical control over their own life's being stripped out, so they're in a robotic controlled state. Excuse me lads.
Sorry, have you left their bag?